We are excited to be in the position we find ourselves with an opportunity to play for the first ever South Division Championship. If we were to be successful, there'd be no asterisk. It would be legitimate, and we can ask for nothing more than that kind of opportunity. Understand that it's a tall order, playing a great program in their home stadium. Is an explosive team that they have shown to be over the course of this season. Will require a great effort by us, but I'm hopeful that we're up to it, and I know that we are looking forward to having this chance. So very excited about getting started with the week of practice. It's a week of Thanksgiving. Certainly we've got lots to be thankful for, as do most of us who live in this country. But we're going to celebrate that by hopefully playing our best game on Saturday, and looking forward to it. Questions?
Have you had a chance to look at the Oregon game, the USC Oregon game yet?
I've looked at it from the offense, Oregon's offense against SC's defense. I've not had time to look at the other side of the ball. Well, you know, they are a very talented football team, and they have a very good coaching staff. So it's no accident that they've improved, especially when you see younger players playing. When they get over the course of a season, they're gonna be much better at the end of the season. A couple of guys, I think Hayes Pillard and Deion Bailey, who I don't think were in those positions a year ago, obviously have played terrifically and have improved over the course of the season. So, and that's not only expected, but it's natural, given that they're good athletes and now are learning that position more thoroughly.
Oregon really didn't get any big plays from their wide receivers with Anthony or tight ends. Are Nelson and the wide receivers going to have to challenge SC down the field?
Well, I mean, our offense is one that's predicated on being able to control the line of scrimmage and be able to run the football. When people stack up against it, we have to either get the quarterback involved in the running game, or we have to be able to get the ball down the field and over the top of them as safeties become more involved in the running defense. Last week was kind of a prototype of what we'd like to be able to do. We were efficient throwing the ball. Our yards per attempt were, a big number, and we were able to run the ball effectively. Wasn't perfect, but it's moving in that direction, and so we've got to, if we could have our way, that's what we'd like to do. But certainly big plays in the passing game are part of that.
When Kevin was in here, he mentioned that before the Cal game, he was given permission to run and really get out there and do stuff.
Permission, huh?
Yeah.
I like it. Makes me seem softer, kinder. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have permission to swing on 3 in a row. Yeah. I mean, at that point, though, you guys Richard had just gotten hurt, right?
Right.
And you guys were down to, Brett Hadley certainly wasn't ready. I mean, that was a pretty big green light to give him, knowing he was injured.
Well, we were at a place, again, we just talked about what it takes to be effective in this offense, and the quarterback's pivotal to that. And we could not play not to get hurt. And I wanted Kevin to know, from the coach's standpoint, that the reason we thought he would be so good in this offense is his ability to run. And he needed to be a runner. There were times in the Arizona game where he was looking to get out of bounds. And it's understandable, given his history with disappointment and injury. But we needed to be aggressive. And thankfully, he took that to heart, took the permission slip, and used it, and away we go.
Isn't it a fair way of characterizing? I mean, that's the way he phrased it, as you gave him permission. But I mean, was there some of it him holding back as well too, just because of his injuries? Or?
Well, you never know what's going on in guys' minds. I think there was some hesitation because he was trying to stay on the field. And to Kevin's credit, not just for Kevin, but because he knew there wasn't a lot in the stable. But for us to be good, we have to be aggressive, and that's across the board. And so I'm glad that that's behind us.
What have you seen improvement-wise from that Mark a year ago to now?
I just was looking at the stats. They've given up the fewest sacks, and that's with a pretty much new offensive line. Save for a couple of guys, they've got a bunch of new guys, and he's getting the ball out of his hands. He certainly has some weapons to throw to, but done a nice job of avoiding the negative plays.
Rick, obviously your plate's been full, but I'm just curious, were you expecting maybe SC to be down a little bit longer? I mean, after last year, coming into this year?
No, I think I've been on record all the while saying I can't concern myself with the sanctions or what the sanctions will mean to their program. You have to expect that SC is always going to be very talented. They've got a rich tradition. They have placed an incredible amount of importance on the football program, and so it's going to be good. And we don't want it any different. We just want to be good with them and make this game as it is this time for championship stakes. And as when I got here, that's the first thing I said publicly. It's the first thing I said to Pete Carroll. I want to play for more than just city championships. He didn't think it possible, but here we are.
Rick, just last follow-up on the thing with Kevin. Was he ever discouraged from running at any point, or was it more like be smart about it?
Well, there were some overtures. Don't take unnecessary hits, but you can take that too far. You're running. You want to go get it. Go get the yards. It's not. You can't take the tact of a scrambling quarterback that's going to hook slide every time he gets out. Not in this deal, and be the team that we want to be.
Are you able to pinpoint any reason for inconsistencies this year? I mean, you guys looked a little good at some points and then looked really bad at other games.
I think sometimes when we get out of rhythm and we're stuck into a drop-back mode on a more regular basis, that can get a little uncomfortable. It shouldn't. We need to be able to, and adept to be able to be in drop-back as often as we want to be. We certainly spend time working on it, but if I were pointing at any one thing, that's when he looks uncomfortable.
I mean, as a team in general, you've had some pretty bad games this year.
And I appreciate you bringing that up. That's nice of you. We're a work in progress. We're working to develop out of that. We've got to become a more tough-minded team, meaning that if one side of the ball is struggling, the other side of the ball doesn't fret. It continues to play hard and continues to play well and waits for the other to catch fire. And that's what good football teams do. And unfortunately, on the road, that has not always been the case. And so we've got to fix that. And we've got to, we're on the road, in essence, this weekend. We've got to fix it as fast as this weekend.
It's going to sound like a strange question. Preface it that way. What's your favorite thing about being the UCLA football coach?
My favorite thing about being the UCLA football coach? It's home. It's where I grew up. And I never imagined anything else in terms of my dream job, of being, in a position to help take UCLA to a place where I think it belongs. It's been there before, and I think there's still more to achieve, and hopefully I get the chance to do it.
Most coaches who are in your position don't even acknowledge that with the hopefully I get a chance to do it. Do you ever think about maybe not saying that or that part of it?
Oh, no. I'm full speed ahead. I'm planning to be here for the next 20 years, and I hope like heck I get that opportunity. But I'm very aware. It's been well ingrained in my mind this year that these jobs are fluid. You have to. There's lots of factors that go into as to what course the those that make these decisions choose. I haven't let it be a distraction. I just want it. I just want to do my best, and I believe we're on a great path, and I think that great things are in store, and not only the rest of this year, but in years to come, and I hope like heck we get to keep the momentum rolling.
Rick, with all that said, does this game still push that button with you?
Oh, this is the game. Yeah, this is it. This is when you grow up as a UCLA Bruin, you can't wait to play the USC Trojans. That's just the way it is, and they can say what they want, but I know it's the same way over there. It's the same. It's electric. There's nothing like being on that field, lining up against those guys in that uniform when we're in ours. And it's a exciting time, and especially now that we're back playing for stakes rather than just the bragging rights in offices across the town. This is what you come for.
There is a chance that depending on Friday's results, your spot in the championship game could be locked up. If that were to happen, would that affect how you use anybody?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not sure I'll even know what the score of that game is. I'm sure we are playing this game to try to win this conference and do it through the front door and win this division, I should say, and do it through the front door, and we get an opportunity. That's all we can ask for. And as I said, the press conference after the Colorado game, very few people thought that possible. So I'm excited for this chance, and we want to make the most of it.
Why hasn't UCLA closed the gap more? We've talked about that when we first got here, closing the gap with SC.
Well, we have closed the gap more with SC. We got a chance to win the championship this week. That's closing the gap. We didn't have that chance in years past. Now we get to line up against them again, so we'll see where the gap is after the ball game. But the gap's closed. I mean, we're much closer to them than we were when I first got here.
You said it's closed or it's closed?
Closer. Yeah, the gap has closed. I don't know that it's all the way done. We'll talk after the ball game.
When Derek Coleman first got here, I think we all wrote stories about him being hard of hearing, and now we hardly even talk about it. Why do you think that is, and is it just simply not an issue for you guys?
For Derek, it's never been. I think there's a number of great stories out there about people overcoming disability, and Derek has overcome his disability in such a way that no one even notices it's a disability. I mean, it's really second nature now. He comes and grabs you on the shoulder and makes you so he can look, and he'll come and tell you what you said when you're 35 yards away and all that kind of stuff. But because he can read your lips, but he really has worked so hard and has had such a great attitude about it. In terms of not being insecure in any way about it, that it's really phenomenal of how little it impacts anything. And that's not to belittle or downgrade the accomplishment that he is, the amount of accomplishment he's set for himself. But he really makes it seamless. Yeah. It's kind of neat to see.
Have you ever used him to read the other team's lips 35, 40 yards away?
I have not, but it's a hell of an idea.
Who's idea was control for the signals that you do if you were going to go to an L level? Was it his or yours?
Oh no, you have to have signals for like that for loud stadiums anyway. So signals are part of everybody's offense, but the learning curve for the coaching staff with respect to Derek was, running backs take the ball and run down the field, and coaches invariably are behind them. You can't coach that. You have to wait till he turns and comes back, and so that took a while for people to think, he didn't hear anything you just said right there. You had to wait till he turns around and comes back. But he's been a phenomenal success story for us, and I hope he goes out with a bang.
That first year it was him, Milton Ross, Andre Dean, and I guess Raymond Carter was part of that group. And if you were to guess at that point, he was probably the least heralded of those backs coming in, but he played the most that first year, and
right.
It's kind of done the most.
He has been a joy. I mean, he's not only become an accomplished running back, but he's also on every special team. Won't let you take him out, and just one of those guys that you're going to be really, really sorry to see go. Excited for him because I think he'll have a chance at the next level, but you're going to be sorry to have him leave here.
Did he get on the field early because he learned the playbook faster, you think, than those other guys?
Well, you know, a number of things. He was very bright, but also, you know, he physically he had a stature that we needed at that time. We didn't have big backs. Khalil Bell was hurt, if you remember, and Christian Ramirez wasn't eligible, and so we were in need of some bigger guys, and so he became a guy that got in there. I think it was the Washington game. I think he had 100 yards as a freshman, and you know, had a big game against Fresno, and so he's been a terrific player over the course of time.
Robert Woods and Marquise Lee are obviously playing at a ridiculously high level. How do you think your secondaries played the last month or so, and how they've got to handle those?
You know what? We've played really well at times. We need to be consistent, but we have improved. We've got to keep from having so many penalties. We've had far too many pass interference penalties, and you're playing against not only two really good players, but maybe two of the best players, not in this just in this conference, but in the country. They're phenomenal guys, and certainly a 1-2 punch. So we got to know where number 9 and number 2 are at all times.
Coach, having been a part of this organization as a player and as a coach, what's the sentiment as you see USC on the schedule?
Well, as I just said, I know you walked in a little late, but as I just said, it was this is what you come for. This is a huge opportunity for everybody involved, coaches, players, to take that field. It's an honor, and you got to look at it as such. And because you're given this opportunity, you need to make the most of it, meaning everybody's going to give their level best with regard to the preparation. Everybody's going to give their level best with regard to coming up with as good a strategy as you can come up with, and then executing the strategy. And what you have to do is you have to picture the scene enough that you don't get caught up in the scene and lose focus during the moment. Oftentimes young players doing this for the first time or being in meaningful playing position for the first time get caught up in all the pomp and circumstance rather than the X's and O's, which ultimately will decide the game. Certainly, there'll be plenty of emotion on the field, but it's exciting for, as I said, everybody involved to participate in games like this.
You've played in this rivalry, you've coached in this rivalry, you've seen a lot of these games. What's the one, if I say SC UCLA, what's the one memory that first pops into your mind? For me,
I have a lot, but if you made me pick one, I would say my senior year. We were down 10-6 at halftime. Found out that Washington State had beaten Washington, so we knew if we came back and won, we were going to the Rose Bowl. And went out there and scored 3 touchdowns and beat them, I think 27-17. And just going through that fourth quarter and knowing we had to stay on the field and bleed clock and churning out first downs by yards and you know, just being on that field against great players like Jack Del Rio and Dwayne Bickett, and you know, and finding a way to beat them at the Coliseum for our return trip to the Rose Bowl was something special. And you know, so if you made me pick one, that'd be it. But they're chock full, and they're long-lasting memories. That's what everybody needs to remember in a game like this, that they're long-lasting memories. So you'd be foolish if you didn't spend your week wisely in preparation to make those memories fond ones.
The last couple of years against SC, you guys hung around into the fourth quarter. Do you feel this team is better positioned to make plays in the fourth quarter?
Well, we'll find out. You know, the last couple games, we've given them 7 points. And certainly, you know, defensive turnovers are part of the game, but we fumbled and they ran one back. We threw an interception, they ran one back. In both cases, I think the score was tied at the time it happened. Those are things we can't afford to do, not when you're playing a really good football team. They are very opportunistic. They feed on momentum, and we've got to create our own. Everybody good? Thanks.